This is Tracy Jones. I want to thank each of you for taking the time to spend a minute and listen to this video. I was trying to figure out how to convey a lot of information very quickly, as I know everybody's time is extremely valuable. And so I'm going to try to do a voice memo and attach it to some documents for you guys to see, and hopefully be able to help give you some clarity before you get into the meeting on Monday morning. So on Monday morning, Miss Suzanne Ward is going to has sponsored a ordinance for a moratorium on a tax abatement, and I want to explain a little bit about what that is and why we want to do that and why we think it's beneficial to the county to do that. And then I'm going to provide the documentation along with that for you to see. So earlier this week, we received a White House document that was issued by President Trump that's also in conjunction with the Department of Energy and the Department of Justice. And this is about ending the federal subsidies for wind and solar. In that article that was sent out, there was kind of a guideline for companies not to be trying to fast track these projects before the funds could be, seized and taken away. So he talks about some things to do with national security and the inefficiency of these programs and the extreme cost of them. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about that. You guys can feel free to look that up if you want to. I'm going to just try to stay focused right on exactly what we're asking for. So we're going to be asking you guys to vote on a moratorium for a tax abatement. And some of these questions are, do you have the right to do that? And so we're providing the Arkansas Association of Counties law, 1414-904 section gives you the authority to do such. Our attorney, Matt Bishop, has written you an ordinance that is in compliance with Arkansas Association of Counties 1414-904 laws and ruling. And so you have a legal document and an opportunity to enact a moratorium on the tax abatement only. This does not stop construction. This does not stop the solar company and Mr. Aiken from moving forward and doing whatever they want to do on their own land with their own money. It just simply removes the county's hands from the abatement side. We're going to also show you some information here that the original Act 9 that was put out by the Arkansas Economic Development Commission was not originally intended to fund things like solar farms. They were originally intended to fund things that created long-term, substantial employment into the community. These programs do not do that. Through our committee process, we have learned that there are no guarantees for jobs. There are no guarantees for any long-term employment with these solar farms. So we're going to give you that information to look at as well. There are also potential decommissioning costs. There are things that this decommissioning is going to cost, can cost in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And currently we have a $1 million bond protecting the property owner. And I believe that also a $1 million bond had been talked about being given to the county. These would be extremely insufficient in order to decommission and land remediate these projects should this fall back on the county. And we're going to send you some information where the abatement could make the county susceptible to decommissioning and land remediation cost. So we're going to send that to you as well. We also are going to send you authorities showing you, we're going to show you Arkansas Constitution showing you that the authority of the judge in an executive role does not have the authority to enact an Act 9 bond without an ordinance from the local governing body, which is the county quorum court. The article that Attorney Fowler put forward talking about the county court, there's clarity in our lawyers' briefings that describe to you what the county court role is, and that is only when the county judge enters into a judicial capacity. And Act 9 bonds or pilot programs, they are enacted through the executive role of the county judge. And that executive role of the county judge requires a legislative role of the governing body before they can enact those Act 9 bonds. So we want to show you that all of this stuff is in your control. You do have the control to do these things, and we would like to ask you as this community to enact a moratorium on this Act 9 bond, this Act 9 pilot program, and give Ms. Vicki Williams, your Economic Development Commissioner, an opportunity to structure an abatement schedule with you so that it can be presented, and in the future other companies will know what to expect when they come to town. And they'll know that if they're not producing long-term growth or employment in the city, then they don't really qualify for these abatements through the Act 9 program, and that is the true intent of the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. So I also want you to understand that when you vote for this Monday morning, the judge has the veto power, and you can read very clearly in the Arkansas Constitution there that he can veto you once. When you come back to your next scheduled meeting, you can override that by reading with a 3/5 majority. So I'm hoping that I can give you all of this information and that this will be sufficient to help us to put a pause on the abatements. That will keep us from having anybody to fast track anything while we're figuring out this process. And when it's done, Miss Vicki Williams can work with you guys to create a schedule of abatement. And if you find it appropriate, then you can offer whatever that appropriate amount is to that solar company when you figure out what that is. But the 65% that's being offered now is the top threshold, and by the state models, that would need to produce somewhere around 100 jobs, 75 to 100 long-term local jobs, and this company just simply doesn't qualify for that. They won't have the long-term impact that a Domtar or an Ash Grove has had on this community, and that's what those top tiers of those abatements have been reserved for. So, again, I hope this helps. I've tried to create this in kind of a storyboard measure. I'm only going to have a few minutes, and Miss Vicki's only going to have a few minutes on Monday morning. So I wanted to give you as much information as I could about your rights to enact this moratorium. You'll find in our lawyer's, Matt Bishop's rebuttal letter, that he's going to tell you that you don't have to worry about lawsuits. You may have attorneys come forward and try to bluff and try to scare you. You don't have to be intimidated by that. If a lawsuit is put in place, it will go to court. And if at what point we decide that we might not want to continue with that, then we can either just retract this or change the wording to fit whatever the judge requires us to do at that time. But this is not end of the world stuff. It's mainly used to intimidate you. A lawsuit is not the end of the world, and the AAC will represent you as a county. Will not cost the county any money. So I'm giving you this information so that you know, so that you don't have to be scared. You don't have to be intimidated. You don't have to worry, well, do we know this or do we know that? We're trying to give you all the information that we can so that you can make a good educated decision. Number one, we don't believe that the judge of the county has the authority to enact an Act 9 bond, a pilot program, without an order or an ordinance from the quorum court. We are awaiting an attorney general's opinion, but we believe we've already uncovered enough legal information to give you a definitive answer on that. Number two, the Act 9 bond was not, its original intent was to foster long-term employment in these counties. This will not foster long-term employment in these counties. So we're again simply asking you to remove the abatement from this project. We're not asking you to stop the abatement, or not stop the project. We're just asking you to stop the abatement. We don't believe this county deserves 65. This company deserves 65% from the county, and we're asking you to stop that and to reevaluate and decide what would be appropriate moving forward. I want to thank you for your time. I hope this helps, and if I can answer any questions, any of you are free to call me at any time. I am using Google Images, but I want you to know that there's a thumbnail at the bottom of every Google image, and it takes you into the state law. It takes you into all the places where you can go read that stuff for yourself. I tried to build you a quick storyboard in case you didn't have time to go down all those trails. But feel free to track all of the stuff that I've given you. Yes, I've given you AI Google Images, but those Google Images are linked to the actual documents, and those blue thumbnails on the bottom there will take you right to those links. So everything we've pulled is from the Department of Energy. It's from the Arkansas State Constitution, the Arkansas Association of Counties Law. This is all stuff that will help you to operate and make a good decision. So I want to thank you for your time. I pray you be blessed, and we'll see you soon.